Elliot Chen was at a Halloween party in Austin, Texas, tucked away in a corner playing Chrono Trigger on his phone, using it as a shield against all the social interaction. Then this girl just appeared next to him, asked if that was the millennial fair. Her voice was soft but somehow cut right through all the noise. For the next 3 hours, they talked about everything. Her name was Vaughn, and it felt like the kind of instant connection you only get once in a lifetime. Welcome to Lady E's Dark Tales. I'm Mistress Moan. You know that feeling when you meet someone and it just clicks? Well, this is about a connection exactly like that. One so perfect it couldn't be real. And you know what they say about Halloween. The veil between worlds is super thin. This is a story about how something beautiful can haunt you forever. It was Halloween night in Austin, Texas. The vibe in the Hyde Park neighborhood was electric, you know. But for this 18-year-old kid, Elliot Chen, it was all just a lot. He was more of a quiet guy, you know. He was into 16-bit video games and chilling in front of a computer screen. Big parties? Not his scene. He was only there because his friend, who was of course super extroverted, dragged him along. And where did he end up? Tucked away in a corner, hiding on his phone. Classic. He was playing this old-school game, Chrono Trigger, basically using it as a shield against all the social interaction. He was so into the game he didn't even see a girl walk up to him. She just kind of materialized next to him, a quiet spot in all the chaos. She asked if that was the millennial fair. Her voice was soft, but it somehow cut right through all the noise. Elliot looked up, totally startled, and there was this girl with really kind, curious eyes smiling at him. She was wearing a simple floral dress that looked, I don't know, timeless, and definitely stood out from all the cheap costumes around them. He just kind of nodded, because suddenly words were not working. She said she loved that game. Then she mentioned that the soundtrack was a masterpiece, that Frog's theme still made her tear up. And just like that, Elliot's little protective shield just, poof, gone. She told him her name was Vaughn, and he told her his. For the next 3 hours, it was like the party, the city, the entire world just melted away. They talked about literally everything. Sadly beautiful video games, weird old anime, and that feeling of being an old soul in a world that was moving way too fast. Elliot, who usually felt completely invisible, suddenly felt seen. And it was both amazing and a little bit terrifying. Lily didn't just listen to him. She actually understood him. But as they were talking, Elliot started noticing some things about her that were a little suspicious, like her phone. It looked like a model from like a decade ago. And when he brought up these big tech layoffs that everyone in Austin was talking about, she just gave him this blank, confused stare. She talked about wanting to go to college to study art history, and she was so passionate about it. It felt incredibly real. There was just this purity about her. But he was so happy, he just brushed it all off. You know, oh, she was just quirky. It was charming. As the night started to wind down and it got closer to midnight, one of Lily's friends, who by the way had a similar vintage thing going on, came over and gently touched her arm. She told Lily it was almost time. And this shadow just crossed Lily's face. She turned back to Elliot, and her smile was now full of this deep sadness. She said she had to go, super softly. Elliot's heart just sank. He asked if he could get her number or her Instagram. She shook her head, and the sadness in her eyes got even deeper. She leaned in and gave him this soft, lingering kiss on the cheek. And her skin. It felt impossibly cool. She whispered that he was a wonderful person, Elliot Chen, that he shouldn't ever let anyone make him feel otherwise. She added that he would find someone who could stay. And with that, she got up and walked away with her friend. Elliot just watched them go, his head spinning over her last words. What did that even mean? He saw her and her friends walk toward the edge of the yard. He blinked, and when he opened his eyes, they were just gone. And I don't mean like they walked into the crowd. I mean gone, vanished, like the night just ate them. The next morning, Elliot woke up totally buzzing but also super confused. The memory of Lily was so intense, it felt more real than the actual sun. The need to see her again was like a physical pain. So he did what we all would do. He grabbed his phone to play detective. He had her name, Lily Vaughn, so that should have been easy, right? He started with Instagram, heart hammering in his chest. Dozens of profiles popped up, but with every face that wasn't hers, his hopes started to crumble. He tried Facebook, then X, then every social media app he could think of. Nothing. It was like she had zero digital footprint, which in this day and age was weird. He kept trying. Lily Vaughn Austin. Lily Vaughn Art History. He spent hours going down these internet rabbit holes, and that happy feeling from the morning started turning into this quiet desperation. He replayed their entire conversation, looking for clues. Her old phone, her having no idea about the news, her friend's weird warning. It all started to feel less like quirky and more like a bunch of red flags. His brain was trying to be logical. Like, okay, maybe she gave you a fake name, or maybe she lived in a cabin in the woods with no internet. But his gut was telling him no. The connection they had felt way too real for her to be lying. The way she looked at him, the passion when she talked about her dreams. It was real. He was sure of it. After a full day of this, his frustration started turning into this strange kind of dread. So he decided to do one last desperate search. Lily Vaughn, Austin, Texas, into Google, just praying anything would come up. He scrolled past all the social media stuff he'd already seen, and then he saw it. It was not a profile, not a picture. Instead, it was a link to an old news article, and then below that, a link to a memorial website. The headline made the air freeze in his lungs. It read, "Local family lost in tragic Hyde Park murder-suicide." And the date on the article? October, 10 years ago. With his hand literally shaking, he clicked the memorial link. And there she was. Her picture was the first thing on the page. It was an older photo, a high school portrait, but it was her. Same kind eyes, same gentle smile, Lily Vaughn. And underneath her picture, her date of birth and her date of death, October 30th, 10 years prior. She was 18 years old, the same age as him. The words on the screen just blurred together, and each one was like a punch to the gut, destroying the perfect memory of the night before. Lily, a promising artist and a beloved daughter, had been murdered by her own father in a fit of rage before he took his own life and her mother's. It happened on Halloween Eve, just a few days before she was supposed to leave for college to study art history. Their home, where it all happened, was in the Hyde Park neighborhood, just a few blocks from the party. Elliot just stared at the screen, completely hollow. The world was spinning. The girl he spent hours with, the girl he felt this insane, once-in-a-lifetime connection with, the girl whose kiss he could still feel on his cheek, had been dead for 10 years. Her final words came rushing back, and they weren't strange anymore. Instead, they were crystal clear and just absolutely devastating. You'll find someone who can stay. In the days that followed, Elliot felt like he was just floating. He was haunted, but not by some scary spirit. He was haunted by the ghost of a perfect moment. The creepy part wasn't that she was a ghost. The horror was that something so beautiful could be so impossible. He'd close his eyes and see her smile, then open them and see the words of her obituary. That memory became a paradise he could only get to by walking through a graveyard first. Was he going crazy? Did he just make the whole thing up? He started picking apart every single second of their conversation. Her love for Chrono Trigger, a game from long before a modern teen would probably play it. Her floral dress, so out of style. The fact she had no social media at all. The puzzle pieces, which seemed so charming before, now clicked together into a terrifying, heartbreaking picture. He thought about her friends with their old-fashioned clothes and how they knew they had to leave before midnight. Had they all been spirits? Just given a few precious hours on Halloween to walk among the living again? To just feel normal? You have to wonder if it was a gift or a curse for them, this short little return. Maybe the dead remember what the living take for granted. The simple joy of a conversation, the warmth of a party, the feeling of being alive. Elliot felt this grief he couldn't explain to anyone. I mean, how do you mourn someone you only knew for 3 hours? How do you grieve a person who was already gone before you even met them? Their connection was real. He knew that in his soul, but it existed in this weird space outside of time, a beautiful, impossible paradox. Elliot never went back to that neighborhood. He just couldn't. The memory of Lily Vaughn was a part of him now, like a scar that was both beautiful and tragic. He carried her story, the knowledge that on one magical Halloween night, he met his soulmate, a girl trapped between the life that was stolen from her and an eternity of silence. Well, that's how the story ends. Tell me, if you got to have one perfect night with someone who just got you, would it matter if they weren't from this world? Is that beautiful connection worth the absolute heartbreak you know is coming? Have you ever felt a connection that defied explanation? If so, share your story in the comments below. And if tales of love that transcends the veil speak to you, don't forget to subscribe. And remember, some goodbyes echo louder than any greeting ever could, and the most perfect moments are sometimes carved from the most tragic circumstances.